Then Somalia moved toward the west-southwest at a speed of about 7 km per hour for 6 hours and centered at 11 past half today, November 24, 2020, near 11 north latitude and 46 longitude. It is moving almost west-southwest and will weaken into the well-marked low pressure zone over the next 12 hours. The weather will be very cloudy with intermittent thunder showers, sometimes accompanied by strong gales, and in the late evening of today, in the mornings of tomorrow, Wednesday, November 27, is advises to fishermen and should not venture into the Gulf of Aden along and the coast of the northern Somalia during the next 12 hours. Today, Tuesday, November 24, closed the first sessions of the Global Entrepreneurship Week organized by the Center for Leadership and Entrepreneurship. This event is an important week for all actors in the entrepreneurial ecosystems, and for good reasons. It is celebrated by more than 150 countries around the world, including Djibouti. During this important event, various topics were discussed that impact the entrepreneurial ecosystems and entrepreneurial youth in the particular. The various speakers in the discussion panels, which were composed of experts and national international entrepreneurs of quality, exchanged on important topics such as entrepreneurship, the legal and institutional environment in Djibouti, trainings and enterprises, solutions for financing very small and medium enterprises, startups, sectors in Djibouti, or entrepreneurial initiative in the context of regional market. In addition to panel discussions, thematic workshop were also led by speakers who are experts in their fields. Young people who came in large numbers of this event were sensitized on the importance of formalizations, the concept of design thinking, the alternative financing method called crowdfunding. These same young people also attend a workshop on the conceptualizations of the project and the preparations of the business plan. Another on creations and innovations. At last one on the art of presenting oneself, someone's project. The Global Entrepreneurship Week was closed by the interventions of the several interventions of the participant, and this is took place the floor to congratulate first of all the general directors of the Center for Leadership, Ubah Ahmed Malo, and her entire team for the realizations of this event, which also aims to celebrate, promote entrepreneurship. They concluded these interventions by addressing the youth of Djibouti with a positive message, asking them to believe in themselves, in their ability, and in the positive roles they can have in their society. The Minister of Interior, Mumin Ahmed Sheikh, held this afternoon in his offices a meeting for the signature of the grant agreement following the visit of the Minister of Interior to Turkish counterpart Suleiman. This event was attended by the ambassador of the accredited to Djibouti, Mr. Salim Levente Shankaya, and the two officials of the Turkish embassy. The Republic of Turkey, through the TICA agency, donate a machine for the productions of cinder blocks intended for the populations of Sheikh Farah in Damerjog. This donations machine strengthens the living conditions of the population of Sheikh Farah in Damerjog. Within the framework of the celebrations of the National Child Week, the Ministry of Women and Family, in collaboration with the State Secretary for Youth and Sports and Ministry of Labor in charges of administration reforms, continue the celebrations with children in the CDCs of the capital and interior regions. The Minister of Women and Family, His Excellency Mumin Ahmed Hassan, accompanied by the State Secretary for Youth and Sports, Ms. Khadija Ibrahim Idris, participating successively in the various fairs of the CDC 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon of Sunday, November 22. To this end, the children participate massively in various competitions that were organized, namely sack races, arrow games, shuffleboard, and lice hunt, the mouse, and water pistol. The Minister of Energy and Resources in charge of natural resources, Younes Ali Ghedi, received on Monday a high-level French delegation led by the French ambassador to Djibouti, Mr. Arnaud Guillois. It was composed of Jérôme Bakonin, regional economic advisors of the French Chancellery in Nairobi, Ms. Anne-Brigitte Masson, head of the economic services for Ethiopia, Djibouti, and Eritrea, Ms. Gail Su Jiang, economic attaché. The revivals of French interests in the development of Djibouti and the strengthening of the French economic presence in our countries have been at the center of exchanges between the two parties. The minister and his hosts were also pleased with the agreement between Djibouti and French company NG for the construction of what will be the first solar power plant in the country with a capacity of 30 megawatt. It will be built in Gombara. The Minister of Labor is in charge of reform administration is organized the 9th sectoral meetings with the youth on the occasions of the special conference at the Hajj Hassan Guled Stadium on Monday, November 23. This meeting was chaired by the Minister of Labor in charge of Administration Reform, Isman Ibrahim Roble, accompanied by the Secretary of State for Youth and Sports, Hassan Mohammed Kamil, the Minister of Women and Family, Mumina Ahmed Hassan. This special meeting with youth, the main stakeholders, was aimed at engaging the youth in the process of realizing the project initiatives for employment, which is led the Minister of Labor in charge of reform of administration, concerted manners with all the actors of employment. The exercises consisted of a series of questions from the youth to the member of the government present at the meeting related to unemployment and difficulties of integrating young people into the labor market. The youth pointed out the obstacles to the labor market, such as the minimum experience requirements, the distance from employment services, the reluctant receptions of economic entities in their search for employment, and the lack of vocational training opportunities. The meeting room of the Central Bank of Djibouti hosted the kick-off meetings by the video conference of the first supervision report on the Central Bank yesterday morning, Monday, July 23, a report that will share a first part of its activity concerning the supervision of credit institutions and financial auxiliaries, and will monitor the evolutions of regulation that will reveal the consolidated aggregate of the various banks of the places and financial auxiliaries, and will certainly be a reference tool for all the bank executives. Attend the meeting the Governor of the Central Bank of Djibouti, Mr. Ahmed Osman, the Director of various departments of the Central Bank, and the representative of the banks of the places. In his speech, the Governor of the Central Bank, Ahmed Osman, listed the various points and objectives to be achieved. The Ambassador of the United States of America to Djibouti, Mr. Larry Edward Andre Jr., went this morning to the PK-23 free zone. On his arrival, the ambassador was received by the president of the Port Authority, Mr. Abubakar Omar Haddi. The two men had a face-to-face meetings at the projection rooms located at the top of the towers of these new installations of the free zone of PK-23. For more explanations on the purpose of this visit, we have collected the words of Mr. Larry Andre, Ambassador of the United States of America in Djibouti. General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim moved aboard the MiG-17 helicopters to the Coron firing complex, where a unit of Camp Sheikh Osman Armored Regiment was performing combat maneuver. This visit is part of the regular training carried out by the Armored Regiment spearhead of the Egyptian Armed Forces in order to maintain a high level of operationality to counter all threats. This training consists of a courses of living ammunition fire and aim to drill the armored unit in a combined exercise of maneuver and fire. In his trip, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim was accompanied by Brigadier General Tahiru Ali Muhammad, Chief of Defense Staffs and delegations of senior officers of the General Staff of the Armed Forces. Upon descent from the helicopter, Semga was welcomed by Colonel Dahir Hassan Abadi, the commanders of the Armored Regiment. Then Semga greeted the picket erected in his honor before reaching the perch from which he witnessed the maneuver. Following the maneuver, the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, paid and announced the inspections visit to the Rapid Intervention Battalion stationed in Ali Une. Indeed, the Bir Battalion undertook constructions and expansion works of the camp in order to optimize working conditions, new offices for technical and administrative services, as well as a recreation room have been built. Also, the constructions of the 2 hangars for the parkings of the newly acquired hammer machine was undertaken, as one of which was finalized the welcomes of on his arrival by Lieutenant Colonel Mohammed Assowe, commanders of the Rapid Interventions Battalion. General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim was able to witness firsthand the progress of the major construction sites. Also, CMGA was able to attend the training of young recruits by the American elite. General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim spoke with the soldiers in full training on different workshops, demonstrations of local combat, and on the neutralizations of an enemy, and a communication workshop were presented to CMGA. Frigate Captain Sasha Simmers, commander of the German contingent of the European Cooperation Operation EU NAVFOR Atalanta, and the ambassador of the Federal Republic of Germany, Michael Hostlers, today presented the director of the SOS Children Villages, Mr. Omar Dileta, with the donations of computer equipment for their e-learning centers in Balbala, a commendable gesture that will undoubtedly help to strengthen the training capacity of young girls and boys in this period of pandemic, where courses are increasingly being conducted online. The German contingent commanders and the embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany never be tired of helping and investing in young people eager to learn and to train for a preliminary impetus. For his part, the Director General of Children Villages, Umar Dileta Muhammad, said he was confident that the trainings of young people eager than to learn new knowledge, it is necessary to invest in youth to create a strong and responsible youth capacity of taking over tomorrow. The regional mechanism for early warnings and early response of conflict of Severu IGAD, in collaboration with the Severu of Djibouti National Mechanism for Early Warnings and Early Response to Conflicts, launches on Sunday, 22 November in Arta. The proceedings of the workshop on the elaborations of conflicts profiles in the IGAD region. This work will last until November 26. The representative of the director of Severu, Mr. and Severu Sundays, and president of Severu of Djibouti and director of communications of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Musa Mohammed Omar, co-chaired this ceremony. To launch the workshop, the deputy prefect of Arta region honored the opening ceremony with his presence. During their interventions, these officials all indicate that the elaborations of conflicts profiles with support of Severu, it is a mandate of collecting, analyzing, and disseminating early warnings and early reaction report on conflict in the IGAD region. The workshop was attended by representatives of prefectures, regional councils, civil society, among others. The president of Severu of Djibouti, Mr. Musa Mohammed Umar, participate in the workshop held in Arta. After the Football Federation, it is the turn of the Djiboutian Athletics Federation to sign a partnership agreement with the national company Air Djibouti as part of the promotions and influence of the national sport at the global level. The signing ceremony of the partnership agreement was held at the premises of the national airline company between the Director General of Air Djibouti, Abdurrahman Ali Abdullahi, and the President of the Djiboutian Athletics Federation, Saeed Ismail Hassan. National flagships of air transport. This company, Air Djibouti, is committed to transporting athletes to the four corners of the globe to participate in major international sporting competitions. It is above all to promote and carry high the national colors through the accompaniment of Djiboutian athletes around the world, where they will defend the colors of our nation. For his part, the general directors of Air Djibouti, Abdurrahman Ali Abdullahi, reiterate his pride and that his to his athletes who are the national flags in all regional and international competition. For the international scene, Donald Trump gives the green light to the process of transitions to Joe Biden administration. Listen to Dinusa.
Donald Trump gave the green light on Monday to a transition to the administration of his successor and presidential winner, Joe Biden. In a tweet published at the end of the day, the outgoing Republican president refrained from directly acknowledging Joe Biden's victory, promising to pursue a just fight as he multiplies legal actions without success to try to demonstrate fraud during the November 3rd elections. Nevertheless, in the best interests of our country, I recommend that the government agency responsible for the transfer of power do what is necessary regarding protocols, and I have asked my team to do the same, he tweeted. This announcement comes as the Democratic winner announced some of the personalities who will form his government. Former Secretary of State of Barack Obama, John Kerry, 76 years old, will be the special envoy of the U.S. President on climate change, a sign of the importance Joe Biden attached to this issue.
This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.